It's award-winning because today I, Evan Grant, have control of the microphone, assisted ably by David Moore. Kevin is ill. Which is
not to be insensitive, but I feel like we've gotten rid of some excess baggage. Do you feel the same, Evan? What we've seen in these last 3 weeks for the Cowboys has been a perfect storm, but not in a Mark Wahlberg movie sort of way. It's actually turned out good for them. Those around them are suffering misfortune, and they're playing their best ball of the season.
We saw some video of Jason Garrett presenting the game ball to Michael Gallup afterwards. I just want to get your feel from being around this team. What was their response to how Michael kind of dealt with this tragedy and still performed?
Yeah, and he's been here much shorter length of time than a lot of players, and that would factor into it. But he's generally well-liked in the locker room. He's very professional. He defers to his elders. He's learning. When he makes mistakes, he acknowledges it, and he works very hard to overcome them. And just really well-liked in the locker room. And not that the team wouldn't rally around any player in that situation, but I think a young guy in his rookie season, and the other thing to remember too is just the juxtaposition here. He made a key catch on third down at the end of that Atlanta game that allowed them to win the game, that put them in position to get the game-winning kick, and that was a big play by him, and arguably the biggest play of his career up to that point, because it came in a game they had to win. He made it, and then they win the game shortly after that, due in large fact to the play he made. So he was ecstatic coming off the field, and this is where young players grow, and this is where you grow as a team when young players make these plays, and you celebrate with the veterans and the whole team, and they were celebrating as they were coming in, and he feels great, and then suddenly he's motioned to go over to a side room, and he sees his sister there who wasn't supposed to be at the game. And his sister tells him that his brother had committed suicide the night before. And from my understanding, and understandably so, was just inconsolable in that moment. And we talked to him a few days ago. He talked for the first time since then, and that was on this past Sunday. And asked him just, have you ever had that wild swing of emotions in your life to be so excited about something you just accomplished athletically, and then just to have it completely ripped away from you, and just your emotional world come tumbling down? And he started tearing up just recalling what he was remembering in that 2 or 3 minutes, and he said that he cried there with his sister, and they live about an hour outside of Atlanta, and then they got in the car and drove back home, and he cried all the way home. He just couldn't stop.
Yeah, I just can't imagine.
No.
Could the Cowboys' momentum be destroyed by a loss on Thursday night?
The only way I see it being destroyed is if they beat, and the game is at AT&T Stadium, if they beat Dallas 41-7, if they beat them 38-10, along those lines, which New Orleans is capable of doing to anybody, then I think Dallas steps back and goes, well, yeah, we really like our defense, but this was the best offensive team in the league, and look what they just did to us. Right. And you know what? We started to feel good about ourselves offensively, but we only got 10 points. We only got, whatever at home. So I think in that respect it could be damaging. But if they play...
Things also then ramp up a little bit more, too, pressure-wise, if the Eagles beat Washington this week.
Well, if then you have 3 teams tied at 6-6 going into the final 4 games, and Philadelphia comes in here a week from Sunday, and Philadelphia has won 4 of its last 5 games against the Cowboys at AT&T Stadium. So, look, I don't think anyone 3 weeks ago when the Cowboys were 3-5, no one expected them to be in control of the division 3 weeks later.
Right.
Now everyone's assuming, oh, they've got the division wrapped up.
Yeah, let's make a clear border here. And border is such a bad word.
Maybe it draws in another audience. Maybe we don't want to.
Let's use a clear line of demarcation here between the idea of controlling the division and commanding the division.
Yeah.
Because the Cowboys do control their destiny here. They do have some momentum.
And they should be favored at the moment.
Yes.
At the moment.
But they don't by any have it wrapped up.
No, and go back 3 weeks ago, go back 2 weeks ago for that matter, were they favored to win the division? No. So just as quickly as it changed now where they're favored to win the division, in 2 weeks here, if they lose to New Orleans and Philadelphia comes in and beats them, they will be one game under 500. They will be at least one game back in the division and lose out on the tiebreakers at that time with Philadelphia. So in essence, we'll be 2 games behind in the division with 3 to play. And then how are fans going to be feeling about where this team is?